on Friday, we spoke to Nigel Northcott from Stepping Stones charity in Cowley, where they help homeless people get back on their feet, and have just entered a video about their work into a competition which would help them actually raise some much needed money. Well, the video was produced by an Oxford Brookes student called Rory Ford. Since the video, he's also been contacted by the Oxford Poverty Action to help them promote their work too. A man in demand. He's here as well. Rory, hello.
Hello.
Hello, afternoon. And you've also brought with you Mike McNaulty, who is in your film crew.
I have indeed.
That's correct. Yep.
Hello there, guys.
Hey.
So you did a great job there, Rory, for Stepping Stones. I understand that the video has actually won some awards, has it?
Yes, thank you very much. Essentially, it was part of a bigger documentary, which was part of my course at Brookes. And what was lovely was Stepping Stones were absolutely great and really accommodating. And as always was the plan, we were going to hopefully use some of that footage to promote and use for the competition. And what was great is they were able to re-edit a short for the OPAS energy competition, and following that, some members of staff at Brookes managed to hook me up with members at OxPAT who wanted to do a similar thing, and that's led to something else, so it's been brilliant.
So it's all coming together, really. Now, you actually contacted Stepping Stones, didn't you, originally?
Originally, yeah. I mean, homelessness is something that I've been incredibly interested in for some time, and it just so happened that this became the perfect opportunity to really get to know a bit more about it, but at the same time do something that was an educational piece that could potentially be used, and yeah, it really went from there.
So what interested you, or what was the big question mark that you wanted to know about homelessness?
Well, I think, and I speak sort of my housemates as well, we just didn't really know a lot about it, and I find it so easy to generalise people's situation, and I think I wanted to change that. And so I started doing a bit of volunteer work in and around Oxford at various centres, and when I came across Stepping Stones, I just fell in love with the place because they're so unique and in both challenging and not just comforting members, and I just fell in love with the place, and I realised this is something that's so special and other people should know about.
Interesting. Was it the characters of the people there, or the actual stories behind them, or what?
That was certainly part of it, but it was more about the projects that they ran on a weekly basis, and that commitment to improve people's individual situation and get them back into work and back into housing. And it just the success stories were wonderful, and it takes years, of course. But that sort of support was, it was just wonderful to be a part of it and be around that, really.
So, Mike, you were part of the film crew on that, were you?
Not on the actual documentary, no. I'm part of the film crew on the promotional video we're making for OxPAT at the moment.
Right. Okay, and so how have you found the work that you've been doing on that? Has that opened your eyes?
It really has, honestly. I think that's partly I'm really grateful to Rory for bringing me into that. He was approached by some of the members at OxPAT and then the university who said, they want you to put something together for them. And he called me up and said, would you be interested in helping me out? And it's been a learning experience for me on a sort of a personal level and an experience level sort of technically. But it's sort of opened my eyes up to homelessness in Oxford and more importantly, what sort of centres offer in terms of helping people get back up on their feet.
And so, Rory, what's the sort of the big aim, for the future? Can you see a business coming out?
Well, this is it. I brought Mike and I should say Will Heinen as well on board, who unfortunately couldn't be here today because they're a lot technically better than I am. It's only fair to say. So I wanted to improve on our skill set. But what's wonderful is that as humble ex-students, we've come together having graduated and been able to not only broaden our experience but help local charities as well. And so we're hopefully from here do a bit more together and start a production company eventually.
Well, so talk us through the work you're actually doing for the Oxford Poverty Action Trust.
Well, they're a great charity that supports a number of other homeless charities in and around Oxford that they call their core agencies, and they raise funds and distribute that accordingly to these other agencies who are professionals at helping homeless across Oxford. And what it enables them to do is be able to create welfare funds and help actual individuals where their budget may not stretch. And what we're doing is essentially raising their profile in a 2 to 3 minute trailer to say what they're about and how they help. And importantly, we've been interviewing members who have benefited from the trust itself.
Do you think sometimes when you go in, you might see a story that they haven't?
That happens. Often it's a collaboration where, we work together. That's what's wonderful about, the dynamics of a group. There's no one director. We're all sort of seeing stuff that could be a nice angle. But we want to move away from the more sort of exploitative bits and actually find the true wonderful stories of how people have been helped. And I think that's our main focus, because really that's what people want to know, where their donation is going. And what we're essentially trying to do is show, that's what your donation's done. It's helped this person be able to get, back into this job by, providing them this.
Have either of you been shocked by anything you've seen?
Certainly,
yeah. For me, it was, I think I probably know, and I don't want to put words in people's mouth here, but I probably know about as much about homelessness as the average person does, which is, essentially that it exists and that homeless people, you see them around, and that, they don't have a house and they need some money. But going to these places and talking to, people who actually are part of the programs, or people who run the programs, you realise that there's a lot more to it than that. And to be able to sort of help, or be able to provide somewhere with this video that can help, hopefully generate some funds to try and give back is really sort of quite good, and it has been very sort of eye-opening for me.
To quote one of the key workers, there really is as many reasons to homelessness as there are people homeless, and I think the impact for us is that I don't think we preempted how much it would affect us. I mean, we've come away from certain shoots, blown away by some of the stories, and really, it's really affected us, and I think that comes through in the videos that we make, and I think that's really a great part of it.
Yeah, one of those moments where you're all in silence afterwards and you just
very much so. Yeah.
All right, well, look, great to meet you. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you very much for having us.
More. Rory and Mike, thank you. It's BBC Radio Oxford, 29 minutes past 5.